So hello everybody. We're going to do a transfer video. We're not going to get much of it on film, but I just want to give you the lowdown of the enclosure, the tarantula that's going into it. This is a very defensive spider, probably one of the most defensive spiders that I have, even though it's kind of small. I don't want to mess around trying to videotape it, so it'll be here. You see the video of, or the first clip is going to be of the enclosure. It's an 8x8x8 nano, the cube, I guess you want to call it, Encycrotella. It's the same basic setup as the 12x12, except for it has one solid front panel door, which I'm not real fond of. Only because it leaves the whole entire opening or front open if you want to, try and feed the spider, which we probably do top feeding because it does have the removable screen. So we'll probably do a little bit of, I'll probably do most of my feeding from the top. But this species that's going in here is, for all intents and purposes, what I thought was a fossorial species. It's a baboon. So I thought for sure that, what it was set up in is just it's not deep substrate, but for the size of the tarantula, it was deep enough. It had a little bit of cork bark in there, and it tunneled underneath there, but it didn't really dig. It just webbed the whole entire enclosure up. So what we're going to be rehousing into this is the Encycrotella olivacea. And what I found out is that they're actually a tad bit more arboreal than anything. So this decoration here goes down about 4 or 5 inches. It's open on the back side, so if it does decide to crawl up inside there and make it a home, we'll be able to see it through the back part of the enclosure. I used one of the Petco water dishes here, just because I like the look of it better. Not that I think, because these after a while they end up just leaking anyway. So I don't know how long lived this one will be in there. The one that was in with the Atlas species red, I would fill that one up, and it had a small hole in the bottom of it. It had to have, because it would just drain out. There was nothing in the water dish at all. No webbing, no substrate or anything. But so I wanted to give you guys a view of what this looks like prior to putting her in here, because she will web this up pretty quickly, probably quicker than the GBB's been doing in her enclosure. She has done a little bit more webbing today, but she still didn't eat that roach either. So yeah, I wanted to try this enclosure, and this will be something that once the E. olivacea is big enough to get out of here, this would be a good enclosure for like the Atlas species red to live in, for its life, or a Neoholothelli insae or something that's around 2 inches to 3 inches, or the Seriocosmus aurea would be a good one to put in here too. So yeah, I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to do this. I'm going to corral the spider, and then I'm going to try and get the spider in there. And the method I'm going to do is the same method I showed you guys before, where I'm going to put the plexiglass over top of her enclosure, put the vial in there, and hopefully I can coax her in there without her doing too much threat posing and striking and everything else. If I do get her to the point where she's really, in her threat posture and staying there, then maybe I'll put her on film real quick just so you could see her doing that. They are very quick. They're a very quick spider. Very, very pretty spider. So I wanted a little showcase, because she is one of my favorites, if it's a she. This is one of only, the Encycrotella olivacea is one of only 2 theraphosids that do not have spermathecae as a female. They actually, they have a uterus externus, but they don't have the spermathecae. So where all the other tarantulas store sperm in the spermathecae, this specific species stores sperm in her oviduct. So if you breed her prior to her molting, and she molts before she lays a sac, she can still lay a sac because she retains the sperm in her oviducts, and then it mixes with the eggs as she lays the eggs into the egg sac. And this spider can also double clutch as a female. Generally, the second sac is much smaller than the first one. So I don't think that, they're a baboon species. I don't think that the numbers of the babies are high. I would venture to say around the 60 mark would probably be a decent size egg sac for this type of baboon. And this is the Tanzanian black and olive. They're found in two different locales of Tanzania. One higher up in the mountain area, one a little bit lower, just outside of a town. And the temperature gradient difference there is not too high. I think it's like 15 degrees difference. But of course, as the elevation heightens, the temperature gets cooler. So this is a species that will tolerate a little bit of a cooler temperature, probably more than most of the baboons will. So with that being said, I'm going to pause you guys here. I'm going to try and wrangle her in and get that taken care of, get her in here. I'm going to put the vial in here with her in it, and I'm just going to leave the vial in there and let her come out on her own. So I will show you that when I get her to that point, and maybe she'll just quickly walk out on her own while we're discussing whatever it is more we're going to discuss on this video. So let me get her down and get her in here. Okay, well, that went way easier than I expected it to. She's right here. If it'll focus on her, it may not. It's going to try, but, well, I call her because I'm really, this is one of those ones that I'll be highly disappointed if it's a male. There's not a ton of these out there. I know somebody that still has them for sale, and I'm seriously tempted to pick some up come spring. This by far my favorite old world species. I'm really fond of the Ornithoctone species Lalus also, and of course my Poecilotherius of Fusca, Miranda, Tigrin and Wasseli, my Orphnaeus philippinus. So I can start. I'm going to do another clip with this one when I first get it in here as part of the top 5 old worlds, so that I actually get a picture or a clip of her visible. Maybe we'll see. So that when I do that top 5 video, at least I'll have her on film. So I'm going to take the lid off. We'll pop it. Okay, so this is what I'll do. Okay, the lid's popped, but I'm not taking it out. We'll take the top screen off. We'll put the vial in, take the lid off, put the top back on, and we will just close it up. And hope that sometime in the quick near future she decides to mosey on out of that thing. If she's not out of there in about an hour or so, then I'll gently get her out with the skewer. I'll just kind of take the top screen off a little bit and then stick the skewer down in there and try to get her up out of there. I would do that now, but I don't think I'll be able to film it. Just because the camera and stuff will be in my way. So, okay, well, I will add the last part of this video will be her out of that vial, and hopefully just sitting right in the front where we can see her. That would be great. So yeah, I'll see you guys again in the next clip, and hopefully this will go easy. Hopefully she'll just come out on her own. Okay, so she's out. Actually, it was pretty easy. I coaxed her out. I just opened the top, put the skewer in, bumped her once, she crawled right out, didn't run. She's climbing as to be expected. Again, she never had the opportunity to climb any other enclosure. There just wasn't enough height to it. So I'm not concerned about her climbing because, again, everything that I've read now about this species, and I've done a little bit of homework on them, is that they are an arboreal type species. So as she gets bigger, she would be something that I would consider, putting into like an 8x8x12, or a 12x12x12, or 12x12x18, or something like that. so that she has the room. She needs the room to dig because they'll still dig, but she also needs the room to climb. So this gives her a little bit of both. I'm not concerned about the substrate level is a good 5, maybe 4 inches in the back. She's got plenty to dig in. She's got this, well, I'll show you the back side here so that you'll be able to see. I'm kind of hoping that she utilizes this log. Sorry for the, probably should have just paused you and turned it around. But let's get you off. Here, let's put this light back on. Okay, so it's not coming out very well. It's not focusing on that. There we go. So it's got that to climb in and web. I'm kind of hoping that it utilizes this dude right here. It does some webbing in there, maybe even burrows right in this area would be really, really cool. We'll see what she does. Again, we'll do updates on her and the OBT, kind of the same thing. So when I put the OBT video out, I will add some of the stuff in from her. And I'm also going to rehouse Chindi out of the taller enclosure into a longer, shorter container with a bunch of stuff that she can web up on. It'll be easier for us to see her, and easier for some of the, the videos will be easier, the feeding will be easier, and then the viewing of her will be easier. So I didn't really do a ton to this enclosure, really. I mean, I went with a layer of vermiculite on the bottom with a thin layer of the organic potting soil with a 1.5 inches or so of cocoa fiber, and then a top layer of the Reptisoil just for the look of the I like the aesthetics of the Reptisoil on the top. It looks more like earth to me than cocoa fiber does. So I think that's what I'm going to do from here on out. I need to get another bag of cocoa fiber, another bag of Reptisoil for the winter, for any of the rehousings that I need to do. I don't want to get caught having to do a rehousing and not have the stuff that I need to do it with. So, yep, that's her. Not named. Again, this is one of those spiders that name just hasn't come to me yet. And it's got to be something that would fit a baboon. And because we don't know what the sex is, it's kind of got to be sex neutral, something that'll stick with her for a while, or him. But, yep, so we're going to go right back. We'll turn this guy right back to the front. She's already made her way to the back side there. Oh, goodness. You can't see her. We'll shut this light off. See if we could see her down through. There she is. Our lighting's tricky. Creates shadows. So Tanzanian black and olive baboon, the Encycrotella olivacea. It's not a popular. I don't want to say popular. It's not rare. Not like they're not out there. They are out there. A friend of mine's trying to breed, I think for the second time in England. Darren Byrne. He's the owner of Tarantula Keepers worldwide, or of the world. Yeah, Tarantula Keepers of the world. Another site that I'm an admin on. He just actually sent me a bunch of information on them with the, he sent me pictures of his male that he just took out with the female, and he's sending the male off, so he's hoping that the male actually bred with the female. That's what I want to see. I want to see some moving and some action from this little one. Start webbing this place up, because I guarantee you that this enclosure is going to be super webbed up. I'm sure it'll be webbed up pretty decent by tomorrow. So, well, thanks for watching. Again, this will be the last video of today, but definitely not the last video coming up. We'll do the transfer of the Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens, the green bottle blue, Chindi. That one, and the enclosure that this little gal was in, I have to figure out who I want to put in there, if anybody yet. I don't even know if anybody's actually ready to go in there. If anybody, it would be the Sazame, but I think that Sazame's pretty happy where she's at, and I'd hate to move her now. I'd like to wait for a molt. All the Brachypelma vagans needs to be moved too. That one's going to be moved here. So at least I'm getting some stuff situated the way I want them. Oh, the bark scorpion too. I didn't get that done today like I wanted to. But I am getting stuff situated the way I want it, which is good. We'll get everything situated for the winter, and hopefully it'll get me through winter and most of the beginning of spring. She's right there. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get some really good shots of her, you know, not climbing the sides, and actually on some of the decor in here you can actually get some of the coloring. I think that we're in pre-molt because I gave her a cricket 3 or 4 days ago, and the cricket's still in there. I didn't see it, so I thought she ate it, but it was underneath the webbing, so she didn't eat it. So I'm assuming that she'll probably molt sometime soon. So if you have any questions about the species itself or the genus, I think there's 2 other species that are actually the synonyms of olivacea. So they're actually the same spider, just a different description. So they're actually the same spider described later on as a different thing. So they gave it that name, but it's actually not. It's actually the olivacea. So what they call that like a junior synonym. So like use the Aphonopelma chalcodes. Like the Aphonopelma New River is actually Aphonopelma chalcodes, so that New River quote-unquote species that they had labeled before is not. It's actually a junior synonym. There's a bunch of them that got categorized into Aphonopelma chalcodes. So, yeah. So that's where we're at. I tried feeding the Hysterocrates gigas, but the cricket went down the opposite hole. The little guy is still buried down below. We'll see how that one does. I'm interested to watch that one grow, actually, because they're supposed to grow pretty quickly if they eat. I mean, it's ate 2 or 3 times since I got it in, which is better than the last 2 that I had. Those ones were, I think I only had them for 2 weeks and they died. So, okay. Well, again, any questions, please feel free to ask. And thanks everybody that has already watched the Seriocosmus elegans video. You know, I appreciate the condolences and the well wishes. I know it's a tough loss, but it's part of the hobby, and it's something that we have to get over. I used to be one of those, you know, when I lost a spider, I'd have to run out and get another one just because I needed to have that void filled. And I'm finding now that, you know, after having 100 of them, that you don't really need to run out and do that. But so we got the Aphonopelma simani coming tomorrow and 2 Asian forest scorpions, so I'll be busy getting those things situated and set up, and I need to feed all the pokies, the 5 that are left. You know how those are. They're tough to get on video, but we'll give it a shot. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.